everybody, and welcome to a very, very happy Art Baker East Carolina College football show. There's reason tonight to celebrate, Coach. 32-14. Your football team comes up here ready to play. You got to be pleased.
I had the feeling all week, and I had to keep pinching myself to say, well, now, they're really ready. But deep down, I knew they were. I've never seen a football team work and so determined in their preparation for this game. So the outcome, maybe the score is a little surprise, but not the win. I really felt like we were coming here to win, and I'm so proud of our coaches and players. I just thought that they did a great job. We made enough mistakes to last us a while, but we still won with them.
Coach, the only thing that marred it slightly, we'd like for the fans to behave just a little bit better.
I'm embarrassed, really, with our fans. I mean, we want to have a class football program, and I don't mean all of our fans.
Sure.
They knew, who could support us any better than they did here tonight? They did a great job, and they were a factor in this football game. But the ones that came on the field at the end and the ones who tore the goalpost down and things like that, enthusiasm is one thing, but you got to have enthusiasm with class, too, and we're going to have to learn to do those things now as we get better and better.
Speaking of getting better, Coach, you got better, but it took a little while to get better. So when we come back on the Art Baker Show, we're going to take a look at the highlights of the first half. Another whopping East Carolina-North Carolina State crowd turns out for the annual Family Feud at Raleigh's Carter Finley Stadium. It's a rain-drenched Saturday night, and the downpour came right at the opening kickoff. Both elements, the rain and the kick, proved to be the undoing for the Pirates early. State wins a flip. They gave it to East Carolina's Anthony Simpson. He has trouble fielding the pigskin, and his mates were a bit tight on the second play from scrimmage. Hunter fumbles, and State's Sterling Squash recovers at the East Carolina 22. 4 plays later, Kublik scores from 6 yards out. The kick is good, and with 12:42 in the quarter, the Pack is up 7-0. The next series for the Pirates features the running of Simpson. He goes for 15. Then at the State 39-yard line, McKinney legs it 28 yards to State's 11-yard line. The Pirates are going to have to settle for a Chuck Burleth field goal for their first score of the ball game, and now they trail 7-3.
Yeah, I was a little nervous. I was just happy to get the first one through, and that helps me relax for the rest of the game.
On State's next possession, senior linebacker Vincent Smith demonstrates leadership and athletic talent. A great hit by 44 and an interception gives it back to the Pirates.
We were basically in a zone coverage, and I had the tight end coming across the middle. He got a pretty good lick from someone and just the ball bounced up in there, and I was there to receive it. Well, it was a lot of turning points in the game. State played really hard. Great football team and very prepared. And anytime that you get the momentum in a game like this, then that's the person that's usually going to win.
At the Pac-24, Hunter pitches to McKinney for 18 yards. Takes it down to the State 5-yard line. Moody goes into the end zone, and the Pirates are up following Burleth's point after touchdown.
That was a great run. That's what you dream about in the hotels and during the morning. At pregame meals, you think about these types of things. And I just tried to visualize doing something like that. And once, you get a chance to do something like that, it really feels good.
The first quarter is going to end 10-7, and the Pirates are up. In the second period, Ellis Dillahunt, like Vincent Smith, is another leader on the Pirate D. This senior out of Ray Durham's program at Jacksonville shows what it takes. 2 plays, 1 a pass breakup, and then an interception. All of this is Ellis's style. Another Jacksonville product, Craig Lucido, showed his powerful leg with a perfect chip shot that kept the Pack in a hole in the second period. East Carolina's only other score comes at 5:34 when Burleth's toe hits from 38 yards out. The half's going to end with both teams sparring and the Pirates up 13-7.
It'll be a 39-yard attempt.
So that's how we come up with the numbers, 13-7 at halftime. What did you say?
Well, we had given, our offense gave NC State the first touchdown with a fumble backed up in the first series. But then we began to kind of feel our oats a little bit. Our defense played great and held on. And when we came in at the half, I reminded them that, we've got a half to go. I reminded them what happened last year in the second half. And that we had a whole half, and we had to really play better in the second half than we did the first.
And the players listened. They did exactly what you said in the second half. For the most part, they played a lot better. Some great individual play, some great team play. When we come back to the second half highlights, Coach, we're going to show you just what happened. East Carolina, North Carolina State. North Carolina State, to open the second half, will take Chuck Burle's kick. They get good field position on the kick, and quickly State is going to get into the end zone and wind up with a lead at 12:33 in the third period. It's 14-13. This is the last time North Carolina State will lead, though, in this ball game. East Carolina gets the kick following the score, and Hunter puts the run shoot into classic form. The Pirates start from their own 23-yard line. They'll march 77 yards plus 5 penalty yards for their second TD of the game. It's Willie Lewis from the 7-yard line at 7:03 in the period, and now it's 19-14, and Hunter is magnificent on the run shoot. Only a failed two-point play mars the stretch.
Well, you know, Coach Christensen is the offensive coordinator, and Coach Gilbride, he's working with him. And they were calling the plays, you know, and the plays they called, they were working. I guess they seen something up top, and we just tried to go out and execute them. The line, they blocked good. Anthony Simpson, our fullbacks, Tim James, they ran the ball, hitting up the middle. And then we weren't hitting up the middle. You know, we got outside on them, and that helped us out.
On North Carolina State's very first possession following the score, Walter Bryant, another key player on the defense, causes a fumble. And Ed Brogdon jumps on it at State's 17-yard line, a big break for the Pirates. Hunter has a 10-yard run in the series, and it sets up a 3-yard Simpson TD. Again, the Pirates will go for 2 at 4:09, and again it fails. Again, though, it's the senior from Brooklyn leading the way.
Well, it was, like I said, one of our basic plays, you know, off-tackle play, the trap play, and there was a hole, and I was in the end zone. You know, everybody out there to do their job, you know, I don't look for the ball that often, but, you know, when it comes to me, I'm willing to take over.
This is a pretty good football team.
Yeah, this is a pretty good team, you know.
North Carolina State gets the ball again, and nope, it's not instant replay. State's going to fumble on their next possession. The ball goes over to the Pirates at the 18-yard line. This time, though, the Pirates quarterback, Charlie Libretto, makes a mistake, and the ball goes back to the pack. East Carolina gets another great effort late in the ball game. Gerard Moody shows some fancy running as he finds his way into the end zone.
Well, it was a basic option play. What we were really trying to do was just keep ball control. And once Travis pitched it and I turned the corner, I saw Don Gaylord there, and he had a great block on the cornerback. You know, I used his block, and I got a chance to look back across the field. And I saw everybody was at least 10, 15 yards down. So I just took them one at a time and broke it back across them and used my blocking.
This one belongs to the Pirates. The first win of the year. Final score, 32-14. Florida State's next week. So again, a great win for your football team. Travis Hunter's a guy running the ball club, the run shoot. Did it run and shoot like you wanted it to?
Well, we didn't throw the ball as well as we should have and as much as we should have, but we didn't have to. Our offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage. I thought there were 2 or 3 factors in this ball game. Number one, defense. Our defense played great tonight. Number two, our offensive line played great. And then I thought we got good execution from Travis and the skill people. And our kicking game held up. You know, it's got improved, but it held up.
Senior leadership.
It's a reason, one of the big reasons we were prepared for this football game. Our seniors were determined that we were not going to get to Raleigh without being prepared to play.
I think, Coach, that can never be underemphasized, can it? Those kids.
I don't think so, and even the seniors who didn't start and some of them didn't play but very much, really realized and took the responsibility of making sure that this football team was emotionally and determined, as far as determination, they were going to be ready to play.
NC State, they got some work to do, obviously.
Well, I was in, the same place that Dick Sheridan is tonight, and I feel for him and I feel for his players, but he's a good football coach, and they've got good players, and they're going to be okay.
Okay, Coach, we'll have more on the Art Baker Show. When we come back, that you have a hard time collecting yourself. What things sort of stood out in your mind tonight?
Well, the biggest thing that stood out was that we did the things we had to win. We had a team effort. I really could not tell you who scored at this particular time. I don't know who made all the big plays. I know that our football team played well enough to win, and that's what we've worked so hard towards doing.
You know, one of the guys that you count on, among a lot of guys, we talked about senior leadership. You know, you could go to Ellis Delahunt, you could talk about him or Vincent Smith or those fellas, and they all have great personalities. They're all great people to be around. Anthony Simpson, here's a kid who's almost misplaced. He's from Brooklyn, New York, Coach, but a great leader, a great football player, and a great person.
He really is a great person, and our players and coaches love to be around Anthony. You know, this summer, Anthony got married. Let's go with Kim Briel. She meets Anthony and his wife and tells us a little bit about him.
Last year, Anthony Simpson gained 753 yards on 178 carries. Those numbers led the Pirates in total offense. Many say this 5'10", 245-pounder is a definite prospect for the National Football League.
Well, you know, I'm not going to dwell on that situation or nothing like that. I mean, a lot of people came to me and asked me, you know, about the NFL. But, you know, I always said, you know, if the chance, you know, if I ever get the chance, you know, to play in the NFL, I would pretty much love that. But
speaking of love, the big guy got reeled in this past June by his high school sweetheart, Wanda.
It started way back in public school. We went to the same public school, and he had a crush on me then. And then he moved away, and I didn't see him anymore until high school.
Always, you know, the women, they always want you, the man, to come and go out, you know, go after them. So, you know, it was like, you know, me putting more than, you know, getting her. At one point, you know, I thought she didn't, you know, want to be bothered with me, you know, because she gave me such a hard time.
Tying the knot was something the two of them had talked about a long time ago.
We knew that as far as responsibility and everything, it was going to be tough, but, you know, we figured we can go ahead, you know, and get married and just, you know, live with those responsibilities right now.
Marriage hasn't changed Simpson's life. He says he doesn't feel any differently. He still is that quiet man who's built a wall around his personal life.
You know, like I said, that's the way I like to be, you know, a little kid. I don't like people to know too much about me, you know. I just like, you know, that's life, you know. Go, you know, do things the right way, and that's what I intend to do.
Well, he's a real sweet and loving, kind man. I mean, he's nice. He don't talk a lot, but don't get on his nerves.
With wife Wanda supporting Anthony, there is success written all over for the Simpsons. Watch out. Number 31 won't be easy to tackle this year unless the tackler is wife Wanda. For the Art Baker Show, I'm Kim Briel.
They call him the human bowling ball, and I tell you, when he gets to rolling, he's something.
He made some great runs here tonight, and, you know, Anthony's going to do that the rest of the season. And Tim James is only a step behind. Tim, you know, hurt his arm tonight, but was able to come back and play. And then George Franklin, just to show you how those seniors again came in and just did a great job for us.
Okay, Coach, we'll be back on the Art Baker Show. Like tonight, you were meeting an old friend in Dick Sheridan. Next week, another old friend, the guy that you worked with at Florida State, Bobby Bowden, comes to Greenville.
Well, one of the great things about this profession are the friends that you make, and those are two of my favorite people and two of my favorite coaches. Bobby Bowden, of course, should have his best football team, they tell us, and they've already been ranked in the top 10, so we'll have our hands full, but we're playing in Ficklen Stadium, and that makes a big plus.
Let's take a look at Florida State, great football team. When Florida State Seminoles arrive at Ficklen Stadium Saturday night, it's going to mark their first trip ever here. Bobby Bowden is the head coach, and like North Carolina State's Dick Sheridan, he's another old friend of Art Baker. Baker was Bowden's assistant head coach in 1984. Bowden brings one of the most talented teams ever to Greenville. They are ranked high in the preseason polls. Some say 10th, others 9th, and one poll has them as high as 7th. There's good reason the Seminoles may contend for a national title and certainly a bowl trip. They have Danny McManus at quarterback, and this youngster can do it all. McManus has a group of receivers who will give the Pirate defense plenty to worry about. Victor Floyd, the tailback, is a speed merchant, and also he has an ability to run well after he catches the ball. This guy is one of the best in the country. Wide receiver Herb Gainer is part of a tandem that likes to sprint behind the defense and head for pay dirt. Bowden says Gaynor is the guy they will look to when quick points are needed. Now, if number 3 provides a need for Goody's headache powder, check out number 82. This is Randy White, no relation to the cowboy of the same name, but every bit as tough in a football uniform. White works the sidelines, and he runs the tough inside lanes. McManus doesn't worry about this pair, but the Pirate defense may have to. And when East Carolina gets the ball, they'll have to keep it away from a very talented Seminole at tackle on the defense. We're talking about the big guy, Steve Gabbard. Free safety Dedrick Dodge is another defensive back who can run with the football when he catches it, and he certainly knows his way to the end zone. When McManus isn't playing, Bowden can go to Chip Ferguson, a backup quarterback, and Ferguson is another guy who can find receivers like Tom O'Malley, his big tight end. The name Sammy Smith will be a household word very shortly in Tallahassee. He's a 6'2", 200-pound sophomore, and this tailback is one of the Seminoles' most potent weapons. The package is complete for Florida State, and you'll get plenty to look at Saturday night at Ficklin Stadium in the Pirates' home opener. You said this game meant so much here tonight. It sets up next week, and I'm sure you'd like to see a lot of people out there to welcome the team back.
Oh, you bet, Lee. And, of course, you know, this is our 3rd year, and we want, our goal is to have a winning season. This is a great way to get that winning season started. It doesn't make our season, but it sure helps to make it.
And, you know, coming home to play and trying to build a winning attitude and winning program, it's another step. Florida State coming to Greenville.
Well, it's one of the top 10. I guess it's one of the first times maybe Miami was a top 10 team when they came here several years ago. But at least this is another one. And, you know, it's not usual that you have this caliber opponents coming to Greenville, and we're delighted to have them there. We just hope we can regroup and have another great football game and hopefully, you know, do the best we can. And who knows, if we do that, we might come up with another win.
I'd like to thank Turner Tolson, Coach. They gave us some chairs here for us to sit in, and it's always great to see you.
And I'd like to find out who that was that poured that bucket of ice water on me at the end of the game.
A bucket of ice water?
I hope you got that on camera.
Listen, next week, Florida State, East Carolina, another old friend that you don't want to treat too nicely when he comes to town, just like Dick Sheridan here. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next Sunday right here on the Art Baker Show.
The Art Baker Show has been brought to you in part by Pepsi-Cola and your local Pepsi-Cola bottler, J.M. Motors of Williamston, Taft Office Equipment Company, Barnes Jewelers of Greenville, Kinston, Jacksonville, and Atlantic Station, the Greenville Sheraton, Interstate Securities, and by the Hub Limited Big and Tall stores.